Top stories tonight. Councillors impeach suspended local government area chairman in Edo State. New Nigeria People's Party wants President Tinubu to prepare for overwhelming defeat in 2027 election. 2023 Labour presidential candidate Peter Obi visits human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi, hails his resilience. And Ghana announces visa-free entry for African passport holders. Welcome, I'm Felicity Ezewike. We begin tonight by telling you that tensions has heightened in Edo over the leadership of the 18 local government areas of the state as councillors have impeached the chairpersons and deputies of the Ohuwande, Odionwo, and Onya East local government areas. The impeached chairpersons were accused of alleged misappropriation of funds and dereliction of duty. During the impeachment of Kenneth Adodo, chairman of Ohuwande local government area on Wednesday, violence broke out at the local government secretariat. On the same day, councillors also impeached chairman of Onya East and his deputy. On Thursday, crisis erupted in Odionwo local government area secretariat when some councillors impeached House leader of the legislative arm over unruly and inappropriate actions. On December 27, 2024, chairperson of Ego local government area and his deputy were also impeached. Staying with the development in Edo State, suspended chairman of Onya West and Ovia Southwest local government areas, Dixon, Ahonsi, and Edosa Enowo Gomema, on Friday defected from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressive Congress in Edo State. Ahonsi defected with 5 councillors, while Enowo Gomema moved with 8 of his councillors. Ahonsi was received by members of the state executive of the party in Benin, the state capital. He said his decision to join the APC was influenced by the steps taken so far by Governor Monday Kwebolo to develop the state. Meanwhile, impeached chairman of Asa Central local government area of Edo State, Paul Iyoha, has accused the state governor, Monday Okpeholo, of orchestrating his impeachment. Iyoha is the 5th LG chairman already removed by the councillors of their respective councils. Recall that the chairman of Ego, Onya East, Ohuwande, and Odionwo, and their vice chairman had previously been impeached. The opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, had also accused the ruling APC and Governor Okpeholo in particular of being behind what it called extermination of constitutional democracy in the state. Iyoha, who faulted the process leading to his impeachment, noted that neither he nor other local government chairmen in the state were giving fair hearing before being suspended by the State House of Assembly. Let's get some perspective on this development. We are joined by legal practitioner Elvis Asia. Elvis, thank you for joining us. What is your interpretation of what's playing out at local government areas in Edo State? Does this have anything to do with the Attorney General's statement?
Well, what is playing out is clearly power play, political move by the state governor to take control of the government system in Edo State. You know that the 18 local governments in Edo State is occupied by chairmen of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, so the councillors. So the governor believes that in order to have political hold on the state, he needed to control the government system. I think that is one of the reasons for what we are seeing now. I think the most important silent one is that, of course, the governor wants to control the purse of local government. You know that the strategy by almost all the governors across the country has always been that the moment they come in, they dissolve the government councils, suspend remove the chairman, appoint technical committees who are basically loyalists and people that are loyal to them. And with that kind of action, they're able to have unrestricted access to local government funds. But I think the hurdle that this present government is having now is that with the decision of the Supreme Court, that it must have democratically elected local government councils at all times to be entitled to allocation. So they're now, devising new strategies, to try to take control. They tried with the suspension, which was clearly unconstitutional, illegal, and has been so declared by the courts. And now they are, resorting to another strategy, which is first try to intimidate the chairman to decamp to the APC, or use the councillors to impeach them. So essentially, this is really what is playing out, and it's very, very sad that in an attempt to gain political control, you have unleashed terror and mayhem across the governments.
Well, did you expect this level of degeneration in violence and the actions so far? We know that the crisis started with the State House of Assembly, but did you expect that developments will take this turn?
I mean, I didn't expect to get to this level. I thought that with the decision of the court to the effect that, the suspension that was done by the governor in the collaboration with the House of Assembly was a constitution, I thought that that would put this matter to rest, and perhaps the governor would, engage in other political, political maneuvers in terms of luring or trying to get the chairman to join the party and all of that, rather than this force. It is. I know they have. Don't forget that. With in the build-up to the 2020 this governorship election in Edo State, there was a lot of issues and crises that was orchestrated by. Both the political stakeholders will blame each other, but we all know that, the APC and the PDP blame themselves for the crisis that was leading up to the election. And so they have all these people they refer to as infantry division. In fact, the Senator Oshomole, the former governor of the state, famously referred to this category of persons that are capable of, orchestrating crises as the infantry division of the party. And so perhaps this is what is playing out. Although I had expected that they would be more circumspect in view of the very firm decision of the Supreme Court, in view of the current position of the federal government, which is controlled by the APC, by the way.
All right. We understand that the situation is very, fluid at the moment, but is there a way forward? Can it be contained? Because some people are saying this is already distracting from governance for a new government.
Well, the way forward is very simple. The governor should respect the rule of law. The governor should respect the decision of the Supreme Court on the autonomy of local government council. The governor should respect the fact that the local government chairmen are not his employees. They're not answerable to him. They're only answerable to the legislative arm of the councils. This attempt to twist the legislative arms of the council by getting 2 or 3 members to purportedly remove a local government chairman and elect a local government chairman at that, it will not go well for his political stake in his state. One would have thought that coming in through through a very competitive process, and considering the doubt a lot of people are expressed on his capacity and level of education, one would have thought that he would concentrate more on governance.
All right,
than this attempt to set the state on fire.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me on the program.
The Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, has fired the Secretary to the State Government, SSG, and announced the dissolution of his cabinet. He also relieved all personnel aides of their duties. The governor announced this decision at a special emergency executive meeting, marking a significant change in the state's administration on Friday in Lafia. Sources close to the governor said the decision was long expected and disclosed that most of the sacked appointees may not be reconsidered to continue with the government. Following President Bola Tinubu's call to state governors to prioritize the development of their states and the well-being of citizens, residents of the Federal Capital Territory have expressed diverse views over the development. Some spoke to News Central in Abuja, saying grassroots development is key to overcoming the nation's underdevelopment challenges. Our correspondent, Joshua Imarayi, has more in this report.
President Bola Tinubu's earlier call to state governors requesting the development of their states and a focus on improving the lives of citizens.
To all of you, the governors, we have no choice but do well. It's in your hand to build a proud nation. There should be no state that we go to and not able to be proud of development.
The statement has generated reactions among Nigerians, as some say through grassroots development indeed begins at state level.
President Tinubu is very right for making that statement. If I were to be him, I may even use cane to flog the governors. Yes, to go and develop their states and forget about the local government autonomy.
We started with 12 states during Go1. And by now, those first 12 states, they're up to 50 years old. Isn't it? They've taken allocation for good 50 years. If you have a son that took money for 50 years and is from your house, if it's not working, you tell him to go out and go and do something.
It's in a situation where these governors put their minds on federal allocation all the time. There are so many resources, so many things that are to be tapped in their various states that they will look away from. They will shortchange their people, they will shortchange the development of their own states, just because they know that at the end of the month, there's a Father Christmas in the center that will give them something.
But referring to governors, because they are the only one and seeks best channels for him to see his policy and his idea reach the grassroots.
Many say President Tinubu's message to Nigerian governors is timely, apt, and necessary for development. Some say if all governors put in the necessary effort to develop their state, Nigeria will experience a new phase of development. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
In the meantime, the Kano State chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party, Hashimu Dungurawa, warned President Bola Tinubu to prepare for overwhelming defeat in 2027. He said going by the alleged anti-masses policies of Tinubu-led federal government, Nigerians had queued behind the party for the next general election in 2027. He expressed optimism that the NNPP would be victorious in the 36 states of the Federation, including the presidential election. Speaking to newsmen in Kano, he recalled that from his inauguration on May 29, 2023, Tinubu had been making life hard for Nigerians with his policies. Coming up, Peter Obi visits embattled activist Dele Farotimi, hails his resilience. We have details after the break. Join us again. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Councillors impeach suspended local government area chairman in Edo State. New Nigeria People's Party wants President Tinubu to prepare for overwhelming defeat in 2027 election. 2023 Labour presidential candidate Peter Obi visits human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi, hails his resilience. And Ghana announces visa-free entry for African passport holders. Let's tell you about the visit. Now, despite his recent ordeals, embattled lawyer and activist Dele Farotimi is said to still be in high spirits and dedicated to his perceived pursuit for national development. Peter Obi made this known in a tweet on Friday following his visit to Farotimi, who recently returned from a correctional facility in Edo State. The former governor of Anambra State and the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, expressed admiration for lawyer and activist Farotimi, describing him as a symbol of courage in the face of adversity. Farotimi was released after being arrested on December 3 by officers of the Edo State Police Command. In Delta State, the police commissioner, Olufemi Abaniwanda, has charged newly promoted police officers to discharge their duties efficiently, saying that the reward for hard work is more work. Abaniwanda gave this charge at the Police Officers' Mess, State Headquarters, Asaba, when he decorated 100 newly promoted officers, comprising 1 newly promoted Deputy Commissioner of Police, 2 Assistant Commissioners of Police, and 97 officers across other ranks. While speaking on the success story of his men during the Utah season, Abaniwanda insisted that the command will adopt new strategies to combating crimes and criminalities in the year 2025 across the 25 local government areas of the state.
The reward for hard work is more work. The IGP has enjoined all officers recently promote 30%. That is the strategic plan of the force. That is what we are working on, and hopefully we should be able to achieve this.
And I want to assure you, we are going to be more committed in every ramification.
More responsibility has also been added to us. We pray by the grace of God, God will give.
The Borno State government has begun the assessment of deserted towns and villages in the state as part of its comprehensive plan to resettle displaced persons. The exercise involves a detailed review of security infrastructure and social services in areas ravaged by insurgency. News Center's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
Jauro Gajere, a displaced person taking refuge in this camp, survives on this business, making 300 to 400 naira daily. Jauro wants to go back home after the years of displacement to commence his occupation, large-scale farming.
Anumaya kuma a wasu kanar kuma da ta bana da India bana zana mangalo yongawa da kuma da ta yimlan alhamdulillah gumna India bana zana da rakan buso shawulsa wala sanado a wanda duk so gaba kida kuma yesu chadda ano rolo no.
These are the only edifices in Abaram in the hinterland Bama local government area of Borno State. To tackle the prolonged displacement concerns, the Borno State government is expanding assessment of abandoned towns and villages to facilitate recovery and resettlement.
We started resettlement. You have seen Dara Jamal. We have been to Abaram yesterday, and inshallah, we hope to close one of the biggest IDP camps in Borno State, which is Bama IDP camp. And that will be a game changer, because it's no longer sustainable for us to continue to keep people at the IDP camps. You also have to take note that the Bama IDP camp was a secondary school before, called Government Girls Secondary School. Girl child education is very important. Non-governmental organizations have to take note that there is no going back. We must close these IDP camps and then ensure that people are resettled in a safe community in accordance with the Kampala Convention.
Construction work is still ongoing in Dara Jamal of Bama local government area of Borno State, and the government says it is committed to resettle all displaced persons back to their ancestral homes to pick up the pieces of their lives.
I want to commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the funding that we have been receiving from the federal government. Despite the low value of Naira.
The Borno State government have emphasized the state's commitment to restoring normalcy as displaced persons keenly await return to safe and habitable communities. In Bama for News Central, Umuru Kirawa.
Many Nigerians have lamented the rising cost of goods and services during the Yuletide and its impact on the celebrations. While the significance and memories of the festive season remain in the hearts of many, the financial burden incurred, especially from the prices of basic food items, remained fresh on their minds. News anchors Omolola Ololade visited a major market in Lagos to sample the opinion of buyers and sellers.
Agriculture is an age-long practice and one of the backbones of every nation's economy, irrespective of region and climate. According to the Director General of the Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency, Kashifu Inuwa, the sector employs a significant number of Nigerians and accounted for 25.18% of Nigeria's GDP in 2023, resulting mainly from crop production, which is the largest, livestock, forestry, and fishing inclusive. The federal government in 2024 rolled out some policy measures and national programs to improve the agricultural sector and also boost food security across the 36 states of Nigeria. Among those policies and programs as stated by President Bola Tinubu on assumption of office in May 2023 as follows: to support cultivation of 500,000 hectares of farmland and all year-round farming practice, for which the government approved 500 billion naira. Dry season farming and cultivation of hectares of wheat. Distribution of 2.15 million bags of fertilizers provided by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Strengthening of farmland security with additional resources for agro-rangers and other security agencies. Livestock production and animal health. This included the distribution of 14 million doses of vaccines for anthrax and foot and mouth diseases. Training and provision of inputs for smallholder poultry farmers. Agro-processing and value addition. On assumption of office on 16th August 2023, the current Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, set out to implement these policies and programs of the federal government. How much result have these measures yielded in 2024?
We have so far ordered 4,000 tractors and with 4 different implements to go with the tractor, from the harrow, from the ridger, from the plow and the trailer and the planters. So we have 2,000 from Belarus and 2,000 from John Deere, the American agriculture equipment maker. We've been engaging with the Office of the National Security Advisor on how we can achieve some of these lacunas that the security poses in terms of fertilizer. Yes, the soluble fertilizer is being smuggled and it's a bit expensive, but we are working on how we can regulate and see where we can have certified importers on the issue of using the drone technology. We haven't started using it, but I know a lot of people out there in the field are using it, and we believe that that's the way to go, especially in terms of pest control, in fertilization, in seeding, and planting of seeds. And drones are very, very efficient, and we'll be able to utilize that.
For some agricultural experts, more effort is needed in boosting food production and security in Nigeria.
The most problem we're having now is farmer-herders clash, because a lot of people you farm and the herders will go and put their cattle inside there. So you are putting security everywhere, but you are not securing the farmers. You understand? We need them to improve on these agro rangers. Most of our farms are in rural areas. We need government to intervene to, create routes where the farmer can have access to bring out the food or the crops from the farm.
The federal government, state government, in terms of intervention, they've tried a lot by supplying farm inputs like grains, fertilizer, and so many things to farmers. But the only bottlenecks, I'm telling you, these incentives did not go down to the real farmers. The political farmers have hijacked everything. And if you are not with them, you will not get this input. So if that place can be addressed, it will go well.
Farming has been done by drudgery. If you look at it, we are supposed to have moved beyond that to the mechanized agriculture, and we are not there. So we hope that the federal government and Plateau State government and the 36 state governments in the country will put farm mechanization as a priority. Because what one machine can do, 10 people will do it maybe in 1 week, but this one can do it within some hours.
Security for farmers and storage facilities for agricultural produce is another area of concern for some others.
Insecurity is one major factor affecting food security in Nigeria, and I think government should do something about that. Yes, they have tried. They've improved on security in this country, especially in Plateau State, but I think they should do more so that these farmers can go back to their farms. And when they go back to their farms, we'll have more use and there will be food everywhere in the country.
The government is not doing enough because of the input agricultural tools that need to get to the grassroots farmers is not enough, and the government need to brace up so that we can meet up with the population growth in terms of food production.
To tap the full potential of the agricultural sector, it behoves government at all levels to take into account the views of stakeholders and walk the talk regarding the implementation of policy measures to revamp the sector. For News Central, Chizoba Anyonyi.
Many thanks, Chizoba. We have to apologize for the wrong introduction. This report is actually a continuation of our 2024 sectoral review across Nigeria, and she brought us a review of what government has done, the federal government has done in 2024. To help us unpack this now, we're joined by the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Plateau State University, and former Commissioner of Agriculture, Plateau State, Dr. Hosea Finangwai. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us. I think your device is muted. If you could double check that for us, please, quickly.
It's not muted. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you for joining us again. How effective has government policies been in promoting sustainable agricultural practices in Nigeria?
Yeah, I want to thank you for this rare opportunity to share with you the issue of food security in Nigeria, which is a critical point of discussion at this moment. Talking about food security, by way of definition, is the ability of every citizen in a given country to access sufficient, safe, and nutritious food. These are the indices involved. And looking at Nigeria as a country, you will agree with me that about 80 million Nigerians are facing food insecurity in Nigeria, representing about 40% of the total population in Nigeria. We want to commend President Tinubu for his renewed hope agenda in trying to address the issue of food insecurity. His policies are using key strategic approaches to enhance local food production, reducing over-reliance on the importation of food, and making food available, most especially by way of trying to suspend temporarily the tariff to ensure that we have grains and some food items available and affordable to Nigeria is well commended. However, government must match words with actions in addressing the marriage problems that are faced by Nigerians. Most especially the issue of conflict and as well displacement, where majority of farmers, you know very well, 80% of Nigerian food producers lives in the rural areas. And so as the peasants are affected by displacement, they find it very difficult to locate their roots to produce food for Nigeria. This is a major problem. The Boko Haram is there, the banditry activities are there, the kidnapping, and as well as the cattle rustling are major challenges that our farmers in the rural areas are facing. And as long as this particular challenge is facing our farmers are facing as well, we will find it very difficult for these smallholder farmers to be encouraged to go into production. Factor.
Okay. Go ahead.
Another factor is the climate change. You find it very difficult today to define the pattern of rainfall in Nigeria because of climate change. So there must be deliberate effort by government to adopt climate-smart agriculture, where resilient crops and livestock must be adopted, must be brought into bear to improve food production in Nigeria. And we have the issue of inadequate infrastructure, rural networking, where input can be taken to rural areas, as well as adequate distribution of food materials, most especially in terms of rural network, marketing, processing, and storage facilities are grossly inadequate.
All right, Doctor, because we're time pressed, I'd like you, you just sort of made concise some of the submissions by our respondents in that special report by Chizoba. So I'd like you to talk more a bit, more of an assessment of research and innovation in agriculture in 2024. What areas would you like to see more work being done?
Yeah, first and foremost is for government to focus our attention in the area of funding of agricultural researches in Nigeria. Lip services have been paid, and that is the reason why today you will discover in the area of biotechnology, we have actually not been doing very well. However, in the area of climate smart agriculture, I want to advocate that our researches must dwell on resilient crops and livestock, because we cannot control so much the climate, but however, we can adopt good agricultural practices by way of bringing biotechnologies that can improve the resistivity of livestock so that they can produce well, bring in good seeds and high yielding seeds that can also withstand the pressure of the climate changes. And I also want to say that encouraging sustainable agriculture by way of agroforestry, soil conservation, and as well as soil mapping, because hitherto our farmers do not actually appreciate the aspect of soil analysis. And that is the reason why we are not getting much. So one of the areas of research we have to dwell on, if we want to actually produce much of these crops so that we will take advantage of the potential we have in Nigeria, is that we have to test our soil and know the type of crop that will be grown there, and then use high-yielding varieties that can withstand the test of time.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
Still ahead, Ghana announces visa-free entry for African passport holders. We'll tell you more when we come back from this short break. Join us again. Ghana's outgoing president, Nana Akufo-Addo, on Friday announced visa-free travel for all African passport holders from the start of this year. marking a step towards continental economic integration. Ghana joins Rwanda, Seychelles, Gambia and Benin in offering visa-free entry to African travelers. Ghana had previously allowed visa-free access to citizens of 26 African nations and visas on arrival for travelers from 25 others, while only 2 African countries, Eritrea and Morocco, required a visa before entry. The visa-free policy builds on Ghana's efforts to strengthen its international reputation, particularly through initiatives like the 2019 Year of Return, which celebrated the African diaspora and commemorated 400 years since the transatlantic slave trade. Bank of Ghana governor says the ongoing cleanup of banks in the West African nation is aimed at improving service delivery. Perpetua Fasomi Peter has more on this and other stories on Business Tonight.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Yedu Addison has stated that while significant progress has been made on the ongoing cleanup of the financial sector, limited resources have hindered the revocation of licenses for troubled institutions, leaving depositors uncertain. Dr. Addison clarified that the challenges are due to budgetary constraints rather than oversight, stating that the government has been waiting 3 years for the necessary resources. He reassured the public that the impact on the overall financial system is minimal, as these institutions are not systemic. He emphasized the importance of restoring confidence in the savings and loan sector for long-term growth. And moving on, demand for global equity funds shrank in the week through January 1, as higher U.S. Treasury yields-led demand for global equity funds declined during the year-end trading lull, as higher U.S. Treasury yields prompted caution and profit-taking among investors. According to LSEG LIPA data, net inflows amounted to $4.93 billion, marking an 86% drop from the previous week's $35.1 billion. The MSCI World Index, which gained over 15% in 2024, fell 1.5% this week as investors locked in profits. U.S. stocks ended lower on the first trading day of the year despite an initial rise. By region, European, Asian and U.S. equity funds saw net purchases of $2.25 billion, $1.64 billion and $490 million respectively. Meanwhile, sectoral equity funds faced outflows for the 4th consecutive week, totaling $2.35 billion. And finally, police in Mauritius arrested former Central Bank Governor Havish Kumar Sigulam on Friday, January 3, 2025, as part of an investigation into a conspiracy to defraud. The arrest followed an order issued by Police Anti-Money Laundering Unit last month while Sigulam was abroad. Upon his return to the airport, he was taken into custody. A police spokesperson confirmed the arrest but did not provide further details. This action marks the first significant move by Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam's government, which has accused the previous administration of manipulating economic data and misusing funds from the central bank to support the Mauritius Investment Corporation established to assist businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's our offering on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasomi Peter. The news continues shortly.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Up next is sports news.
Sports update brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Super Eagles striker Omar Sadiq is set to join Valencia on loan from Real Sociedad in the January transfer window. The deal, according to confirmed reports, includes an option to buy clause. The 27-year-old has struggled for consistent playing time at Real Sociedad since his move from Almeria, managing just 4 goals and 2 assists in 50 appearances across all competitions. Prior to this move, Sadiq was linked with several clubs, including Sevilla and Getafe, during last summer's transfer window. The move to Valencia provides a fresh opportunity for the forward to secure regular playing time and also to revive his career. Stefano Vukov, former coach of world number 6, Elena Rybakina, has been provisionally suspended by the WTA amid an ongoing investigation into his conduct. The suspension follows allegations of breaching the WTA's code of conduct, though details remain unclear. Vukov, who helped Rybakina win Wimbledon in 2022, denies any wrongdoing. The investigation follows concerns over his behavior towards Rybakina, which has sparked criticism, especially from former doubles champion Pam Shriver. Rybakina recently announced Vukov's return to her team, a decision that has stirred controversy. Vukov's suspension prevents him from assessing player areas at the WTA events. Rybakina's partnership with Goran Ivanisevic remains under review, with his role uncertain. Paris Saint-Germain could claim their first silverware of the season when they face Monaco in the French Champions Trophy in Doha on Sunday. The fixture's location highlights Qatar's growing influence in French football. Traditionally a curtain raiser for the French season, the Champions Trophy has been held abroad several times since 2009, including Canada and recently Qatar. Initially planned for Beijing, China, to mark the 60th anniversary of France-China relations, the match was cancelled by Chinese authorities following a similar issue last year in Thailand. While Ivory Coast was also considered, Qatar's financial offer persuaded the French League to host the event in Doha at the 2022 World Cup venue, Stadium 974. Australian cricketers Cameron Bancroft and Daniel Sams were hospitalized after colliding during Sydney Thunder's Big Bash League match against Perth Scorchers on Friday. Bancroft, who had a 9-month ball tampering ban during his Test career, was left with a bloodied nose but walked off the field. 10-time T20 international, Sams was stretchered off after the pair collided heads while attempting a catch. The Thunder confirmed both players were conscious and speaking, but showed concussion symptoms and possible fractures. They were both transported to the hospital for further evaluation. The incident underscores the dangers of fielding in cricket, with both players' conditions being closely monitored. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I am Udoka Njoku.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Up next is entertainment.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And now in entertainment tonight, Nigerian singer Odumodu Black has addressed the stage collapse incident during his performance at the Native Land Festival on the 21st of December 2024. The event, which also featured UK rapper Central C, turned chaotic when the stage gave way mid-performance, sparking panic amongst attendees. In an interview with Hip TV, Odumodu Black reflected on the situation, saying, "For some reason I wasn't scared. I didn't panic because God is always in me." He emphasized the complexities of event planning and explained that such mishaps often involve multiple parties, including production, lighting, and sound teams. He urged fans to avoid blaming a single entity for the incident, adding, "You can't really point fingers at one person or at everyone for one person's mistake. All in all, we thank God nobody died, and casualties have been taken care of to the best of my knowledge." The festival organizers, Native, have assured the public that investigations are underway to determine the cause of the collapse. Now on the international scene, after more than a decade of legal disputes, superstar Beyoncé has secured exclusive rights to trademark her daughter Blue Ivy's name. The decision was confirmed by the trademark official Gazette, marking a significant victory for the singer and her family. The legal battle began in 2012 when Beyoncé and Jay-Z filed for trademark protection shortly after Blue Ivy's birth. Their efforts were met with opposition from Veronica Morales, a wedding planner who had been operating Blue Ivy events since 2009. Despite the challenge, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office ruled in 2020 that Morales' business name was distinct from Blue Ivy Carter's identity. In 2023, a Wisconsin boutique further complicated matters by claiming rights to the Blue Ivy logo. However, the boutique failed to follow through with the opposition, clearing the path for Beyonce to finalize the trademark. With this decision, Beyonce now holds exclusive rights to the name, preventing others from using Blue Ivy for commercial purposes. This win reinforces her ability to protect her family's brand and legacy.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
That is all tonight, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Councillors have impeached suspended local government area chairman in Edo State. New Nigeria People's Party wants President Tinubu to prepare for overwhelming defeat in 2027 election. 2023 Labour presidential candidate Peter Obi visits human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi, hails his resilience. We also brought you news that Ghana has announced visa-free entry for African passport holders. You can catch up on all the latest stories by watching News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Abo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Good night.